In fact, there are two college entrance examinations in a person's life. The first type can directly enter the world of happiness. The second type is good, will get and can also embark on the road of slaughtering gods. But I choose the latter without hesitation. Forbidden ghost. Whether it is the military flame that burns everything, or the shadow lord who summons the undead. I'll get it just by looking at it. At this moment, the iron chain in the body was broken instantly. Turn into basis. After passing this test, I know I'm savvy. Also useful for breaking the chains of God. For most awakened people, advancing to the awakening level. These are all difficult problems, and you only need to have enough money. Can be continuously upgraded. I am full of confidence in the assessment in 2 days. On the other side of the sea is snow falling inside the Xia family's mansion. Lying on the ground sweating profusely and looking exhausted, I muttered in disappointment that this failed again. Next to him lie several golden rivers that have been absorbed. There was the sound of the door being pushed open in the distance. Let me see my baby girl. How is it today? A man in a suit and leather shoes walked in outside the door. Strong middle-aged man. And he is Xia Zhu's father, Xia Shenking. He is also the head of the execution department of Hunter Qinghai City. This is also the last straw that overwhelmed Xia Zhu. I can be said to have been born into the family of the awakened. I can't compare with Ling Yuan in school. Wake up. Ability has become his only capital and pride. But just yesterday, even my only pride, he was also trampled under his feet effortlessly. Xia Shenking sat on the ground, looking at the nearby Jing River. Open your mouth and ask, is this the impact of the first chain and failed again? Don't be too upset. Want to break through the chains of God? It takes a very long time to settle. You heard that the front foot just awakened successfully. Immediately break through the chain of God with the back foot. Promoted to first order consciousness. Are you awake? This kind of thing is impossible. Don't put too much pressure on yourself. Xia Shenking comforted her. I have already heard what Zhang Zan said about yesterday, that Ling Yuan is indeed a genius, but the destructive power of his awakened competing spells and abilities, only one level. It's even on the same level as DJ's ability. This shows his racing spells and abilities should be a support. At least for now. My baby girl is still the strongest. Here, even if it snows, it can't help but turn around and become dangerous. Although Ling Yuan awakened to powerful spells and powers, but the destructive power is only the first few. I have used so many gold boxes, failed to break through. God's thoughts. Ling Yuan only has one Jin, and is even more crazy. On breaking through the loss of God, I will definitely defeat you severely in the Ling Yuan test. It's the day of the exam. I have been stabilizing and familiarizing myself with my first order strength. That power. After these 2 days, the dragon elephant talent has doubled. Shockingly, it has reached an exaggerated 4,000 gold. In the assessment field, Xia Shenking, as the person in charge of the Qinghai City Implementation Department, already arrived at this time. There was someone who came with him wearing glasses. Old man. This old man is the chief officer in charge of this assessment. At the same time, he is also responsible for the selection of the provincial training camp. Since Qinghai is the 13 awakened ones this year, everyone is here now. I announce that the assessment has officially begun. There are a total of 13 passages in front of you. All you have to do is walk into the passage. The final score of the assessment is extremely. Time to walk out of the tunnel. Everyone started walking towards the assessment passage, when Shizu just stepped into the assessment channel. After a dream, a black shadow suddenly appeared out of thin air. In the middle of the passage, anthropomorphic disorder. The shape of this thing is almost the same as that of a normal human being. Both strength and speed are far superior to those of the same level. The awakened. The blazing light blooms all over the snow. Fire snakes appeared out of thin air and wrapped themselves around them. The other side of the military banquet, a figure exploded towards where I was. The fire was accompanied by a loud roar. 4,000 pounds of full force instantly hit the surface of the female war partner. The female fighting partner was instantly smashed to pieces. I didn't expect that this kind of assessment would include a warm-up session. I have to say that this group of assessment team members are pretty good. The gold box inside the doll falls out. Is this a reward? I bent down and picked up the gold box. Jinshi just lacks the gold box now. Then he looked at a group of women not far away. The doll's eyes are full of greed. The body exploded in the next second. Zhang Zan, who rushed out of the assessment, could no longer sit still. Looking at the passage I entered, walking back and forth alone, scratching your head and scratching your head. Xia Shenkin said with a smile, okay, Lao Zhang, sit down and be quiet for a while. The old man then interjected and said, you know that too. There was an emergency meeting just above. According to forecast, there will soon be a small mysterious resurgence erupting. For this batch of anthropomorphic disorders, the execution took nearly half a year of budget. The old man smiled and looked at Xia Shenking, who was at the side. Jokingly said, Lao Xia, I want to congratulate you in advance. My daughter wants to win the first place in this assessment. Sure enough, there are 5 tigers in the general gate. I in the passage picked up the last gold box. Exactly 10 pieces. Should be able to break through to the second order Juxing on his own. Suddenly a powerful force strikes. It was Zhang Cheng, the examiner in charge of the exam. The monitor doll signals all disappeared in an instant. Let's see if something went wrong. Are you coming? The second level. I can't help but look a little serious. Jiankang, which has just landed, looks at the obstacles of travelers all over the ground. I haven't figured out the situation yet. He saw me face to face and punched me. Good boy. I really don't know how high the sky is and how high it is. Just wake up. For 3 days. Now, how dare you take action against yourself? A second level awakener. A hidden disease. Several shadows emerged from the haze behind Jiankang, poured out. A familiar voice rang in my ears again. For observing the danger and the related release process of the superpower engine. Comprehension, successfully understand the ability and improve it in 1 day. Understand the power of Shadow King and other levels. Can extract the shadow of the king. Become your own history destroyer LS. And before I'm happy. Several shadows were released from the city in all directions. Already rushing towards me. If this continues, I'm afraid it will be difficult for me to break through the second level. Facing the shadow's attack, I simply stood up. Then the golden color filled the entire pupils. Stand up and curse a Shadow King. Shadow stood up again. It's the rock staff that turned into a shadow. Suspended in midair. Dark blue flame pupils. Then stare closely at yourself. It's snowing on the other side. After dealing with the last anthropomorphic battle, the whole person collapsed on the ground exhausted. A second order awakened person appeared in front of him. Congratulations, you have completed this assessment. You can go out now. He just relaxed after hearing the news. Breathed a sigh of relief, dragging a tired body. Rushed out of the passage. It's snowing, someone shouted. Seeing that there is no figure of me on the field, have you finally surpassed you? John Zan couldn't sit still at this time. Haven't come out for so long. Could it be that something unexpected happened to Ling Yuan? Ling Yuan, who was invigilating the exam? I asked, but there's no glory in Jiankang. It's like losing contact. The old man asked with some surprise. Impossible. As a second-level heartless person, how could he lose contact? The old man has not finished speaking, was interrupted by a distant noise. Look at Ling Yuan. Ling Yuan also came out. Wait, who is he pulling? My figure came out of the dark passage. Another person was dragged out behind him.